everyone. It is 12 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means it must be time for our weekly NBN expert chat. And joining me is someone different. We've got the other director of Central Telecoms with us, Graham Johnston. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. You're nervous? You've done this sort of stuff before? You're okay? You're cool with it all?
I'm not as good at talking as Andy. Andy can talk
underwater with marbles in his mouth. Yes, he can.
Yeah.
And hi to Andy if you're watching. We know you are. So, mate, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about NBN for business. And if you're watching this, just so you have a bit of a reminder, you're watching this on Facebook Live at Central Telecoms. You might be on wagga-wagga.tv. It's also going to the Central Telecoms YouTube page. Remember that you can ask questions, even if we can't answer them right now on the spot. The guys at Central Telecoms will give you all the answers, and they are still providing a free coffee to anyone locally who wants to ask a question to Facebook. So, mate, we've been talking about NBN for business. Last week we talked a little bit about VoIP. Today, we're talking about the hardware, the technology, and a lot of people are thinking, what do I do? Do I sort of upgrade the technology that I've got, or do I keep the existing hardware that I've got within the office and just use that? You guys are suggesting that maybe if you want to be future-proof out there, and many of our viewers will want to be, it's probably best to adapt to the technology that's available now and also future-proof for new technology down the track. What do you guys got as a solution?
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of companies out there that are frustrated with the NBN because they're being forced almost to upgrade, change their phone lines across from old analog phone lines into new IP phone lines.
Sure.
And they don't necessarily have a problem with their old equipment. It's been working for 10, maybe 15 years, and it sort of works okay. But what happens with most companies is you have a phone system and you don't get to change it very often.
Yes.
It's set up in the first place, and then your system, your company changes. You may add extra people. You may need to change the call flows on the phone system.
Sure.
But you don't ever get round to it, and you don't ever call the engineer out to fix things up, and it's just stuck in a rut almost.
Yes.
The old system, and this NBN change is just a perfect opportunity for companies to effectively refresh what they've got. Have a coffee with us guys, and just have an opportunity to see what alternatives are out there compared to what they're used to.
The existing hardware. Okay, great. Yeah. So I know you've brought one over, so we might have a look at this handset now. IP telephones, is that what they're called?
Yeah, so this is just a brand new IP telephone, which is probably a little bit different to what most people are used to on their desks. But it's really, really simple. The signal that this receives is an internet signal directly from the router, and it's really, really simple. Plug these in, configure them up, and then they make and receive phone calls. So they're not dramatically different from a normal phone, but they speak the language of NBN.
Okay.
So it's really important to have systems in place that speak the lingo without having to. I use an analogy of translating it. So if you were speaking English and I was speaking Japanese,
yes,
then we'd have to have a translator in the middle that translates that language.
Yes.
And similarly, with old technology, with old telephone systems, you can get them to work over NBN, but you have to invest in an adapter, a box,
yes,
which translates the signal from old analog signal into new IP signal. These handsets don't need that box, don't need that translator. They just work straight away using the correct signal.
Great, and I remember when I was talking to Andy about this at some stage, he also used an analogy around accounting software and desktop software, that sort of thing. So can you explain a little bit more about what he meant by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if you wind the clock back 10 years ago, everyone had servers that were running, say, Sage software, or they had their Microsoft software running on an in-house server.
Sure.
But gradually, over the last few years particularly, and particularly since the NBN has rolled out, it's offered the opportunity for companies to use cloud computing.
Yes.
So everyone's heard of Dropbox, everyone's heard of Xero, MyObs online.
Yep.
So you can use all those software applications without having to fork out tens of thousands of dollars on servers when you just pay $25 or $30 or whatever it might be for the license to run that software. And you know, another big one is obviously Microsoft. Everyone had their Microsoft server in-house.
Yes.
They had to pay to support it, they had to pay to upgrade it, patches, this, that and the other. Now, Microsoft Office 365 is all online. You pay a subscription per user per month.
That's right.
We use it ourselves.
Yep.
And you can access the information from anywhere. You can, it looks after itself, you don't have to maintain it. or replace it or upgrade it because you don't own it.
That's right.
So the similarities with our system is also hosted in a data centre in Sydney.
Sure.
In multiple data centres in Sydney. So you never have to purchase a big box that goes on the wall that depreciates and you have to replace it.
Yep.
We effectively supply these handsets, plug them into the internet connection, and then effectively away it goes.
So we'll just tilt that a little bit so you can see the screen there as well. The other advantage of this particular handset we would see is that it's ready for sort of teleconferences or anything where you've got a video link as well. Is that right? That monitor, it's a fairly large monitor, I'm assuming that you can actually...
Yeah, you can upgrade these to have video conference as well. So
right.
Absolutely, the opportunities are endless.
Okay, let's talk a little bit around price if we could, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, okay, what's the best value for me? Do I keep my existing hardware and eventually you'll end up in trouble down the track when that technology's gone altogether and you sort of got to make the change anyway.
Yep.
But if you're looking at upgrading now to the new handsets and you've got these plans, what sort of prices are out there with Central Telecoms?
Well, I'll give you a couple of examples. Yesterday I was out with one of our new guys, Daryl,
yes,
who's sat in the audience.
Yes, he is in the studio audience. Hello, Daryl.
And we had 2 appointments yesterday. One of them was with a very forward-thinking new equipment company.
Yes.
New computers everywhere, up-to-date software,
sure, and
prepared to invest in that technology, and it just constantly works.
Yep.
The other one that we went to, again, great company, but they had very, very old equipment,
right,
that was due for upgrade, and the options for them is either to replace it with what we're talking about here,
yes,
or they can potentially upgrade it with software on the old telephone system.
Got you.
What we've realised over the last few months is that the old telephone companies are charging more to upgrade the software on the old equipment than it costs for us to rip it all out and replace it with new equipment.
There's the answer right there. So not only are you future-proofing, but you're probably saving some dollars as well going to this system compared to the upgrade that you've got to do on the old system as well. Mate, just another reminder that if you're watching this, get onto the Central Telecoms Facebook page, send them a message, ask them a question. There's a free coffee in it as well if you sit down and have a meeting with these guys, and they'll put you on the best plan and options available for the new technology out there. Graham, is there anything else that we should be telling people before we talk about next week's show?
I think the key for companies out there is just to have a listen. Don't get stuck in the ways and don't assume that what you've got in place currently is the right thing. We are a local company. We are more than happy to pop out, speak to you face to face. We're very ethical, we're very honest, and we just want the opportunity to come and chat to you, basically.
Yeah.
And once you've got all the information, then the customer can then make an informed decision. But without having all of the information to hand, they're making a blind decision and assuming that the big telcos that are out there are the only option, and they're absolutely not the only option.
And we should point out there's no question that these guys won't answer. So if you think you've got a curly one, something difficult, get in contact. Both Graham and Andy have got all the answers here at Central Telecoms.